What's going on, and welcome back to Not So Pro Football Talk. We're back with another fantasy video. I'm super excited about this. We're going to be doing this every single Tuesday. I'm here joined by Reed. We're going to continue talking about the top fantasy running backs. We did do our top 5, so if you haven't checked out that video, go ahead and check it out. We did our top 5. I don't want to spoil it here, but I might spoil it at the end of the video. I'm not too sure yet. I haven't quite decided. But we do have a lot of great running backs coming up this upcoming season. So if you don't have a top 5 pick, or you don't have a top 5 running back in your draft and you're freaking out, make sure you watch this video, because we're going to help you out, help you choose the right choice when it comes to the running back position, especially if you are in a PPR league. This is huge. We're going to give out great advice. We're going to compare a lot of catches throughout the season. So stay tuned, and we should just get right into it. Okay. We're going to go off from 10 up, okay? Because since we did our top 5, we're going to go 10 all the way through 6. So number 10, I want to start off. Honestly, I did not have him as my top 10. I was outvoted here, and I could clearly see why. He's a very successful back. I don't think he's going to have the same production. We have Aaron Jones. And the reason why I don't have him in my top 10 is because he shares that backfield with Quadzilla, that freak of nature, AJ Dillon. He goes out there, and I see him taking on more of a running back role. Of course, not a running back role, but more of that lead role, taking a lot of that weight off of Aaron Jones' shoulders and being there for the team. Clearly, we got Reed here. He's big on Aaron Jones. Reed, what's your take? Why is he in your top 10?
The reason why he's on my top 10, because ever since he became the starting running back for the Packers, he's been a touchdown monster. I don't have the exact stats with me right now, working off my phone today, but he's always been on the top of receivers as far as touchdowns, either whether it's rushing or receiving. I think from 2017, he's on the top 5 as far as touchdowns from 2017 till now. But yes, AJ Dillon would be taking a lot of snaps from Aaron Jones. But in my opinion, if I'm the Packers, I'm gonna be running Aaron Jones into the ground. This is his last year with the Packers. He's still signed for another 2 years, but with his cap hit, there's no way we're gonna be keeping him. The contract was made basically so we'd have him for 2 years, and then we will cut him. He knows it. The Packers know it. This is going to be his last year with the Packers, unless he goes like an MVP season. But I don't see that happening. And
what's going on there? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And to AJ, yes, AJ Dillon will be taking a lot of the snaps, but you got to remember somebody just left the Packers offense that took 50% of the plays. Davante Adams is out of there. And we're going to be heavily, unless we have some stars coming out of our wide receiver corps like Allen Lazard or some of our rookies, a lot of our offense is going to have to go through A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones is our starter. Yes, I think A.J. Dillon is going to be getting a lot more of those snaps, especially because Aaron Jones isn't the most healthy back. He'll miss like 3 to 4 games most likely this season, like usual. But Aaron Jones will be getting touchdowns, and he will be getting you fantasy points.
Nice. Very well said, Reed. Sound like a pro, if I don't say so myself. What's going on, Nick? Appreciate you being here live with us. Yes, go Cowboys. You also reminded me, so I do need to announce this today because it is Fantasy Day, that just a reminder that we are doing an NSP Fantasy Football League. So for those of y'all who don't have that friend group that does a lot of fantasy football, or is something that you just you're like Vincent and join like 5 fantasy leagues a year, then we're going to have one here, okay? And we're going to be releasing some details later on, but if you are interested, this is for the fans only. Let us know so we could book you a spot in the NSP Fantasy Football League. It's going to be a lot of fun. If we don't have too many people, then us 3 would join so we could just cream you all like we're going to do anyways. But it should be a lot of fun. But Vince, before we move on, do you have anything to say real quick about Aaron Jones?
Uh, I kind of agree with Reed here. The writing on the wall is that they are going to go with AJ Dillon after this year. That guy's a beast. Good job, Nick. We're going to have you in there for sure, man. Hopefully, we get to get in there too, so we can play you. But yeah, Aaron Jones is great. Don't get me wrong; he's still pretty young for the running back position, but running backs do get out of the league quicker and more often than a lot of other positions that play in the NFL. So he'll get a deal somewhere else. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of teams that would love to have him either double heading, like how a lot of teams are doing it now with two running backs that go in and keep him fresh all game long. But Aaron Jones, yeah, unless he has an MVP season, I don't think the Packers are ready to give him a big deal as well as AJ Dillon.
Nice, nice. Now let's move on to our number 9 pick. Me personally, in my top 10, this guy was not a number 9. He was a little bit higher just because I got high hopes for him and this team. I'm talking about Javonte Williams, the running back for the Denver Broncos. Gets a brand new freaking Ferrari there for a quarterback. So you know they're going to see a lot of time in scoring positions in that red zone. So what does that mean? It means a lot more scoring opportunities for the offensive players, not just the running backs, but for the wide receivers as well. I want to talk about Javonte Williams because how much he stood out last year. Not a lot of people had him. Okay, he didn't play that much, but he did in the 5 games that he did play. He was averaging 18.9 fantasy points per game, and the one game that Melvin Gordon was not playing, he scored 29.8 points. That is insane. Now, Melvin Gordon, he was a free agent. He did sign back with the Denver Broncos, signed back for a 1 year, about $5 million deal. I do believe Javonte Williams is the running back one in this situation. He is the running back of the future. Melvin Gordon is just there for support to help him out, just so he doesn't get too much of the workload. Javonte Williams is going to be scoring points up the wazoo. And like I said, now with Russell Wilson there, they're going to have a lot more scoring opportunities.
Yeah, I agree with that, AJ. Definitely be wary of Javonte just because that Melvin Gordon, running back number 2, he can take a lot of those touchdowns away because Melvin Gordon's a bigger guy. You want the 1 yard line. I'd rather put Melvin Gordon in just because he's going to be able to push into that end zone and get that touchdown. But Javonte Williams, his upside is huge. If you can get him in maybe the second, third round, that's a huge steal. Definitely a good running back to pick up. I think he's going to be the running back for the future of the Broncos. We'll have to see how it pans out, though.
Yeah, man, I've done 2 fantasy drafts so far. Nothing serious or anything. I don't know if the players are serious themselves either. But Javonte Williams has gone by the second round in both of those that I've done. And everybody has high hopes for this guy. Of course, Melvin Gordon's still there, and he's more of a pass-catching back, and he did score a lot of touchdowns for Denver last year. But with Russell Wilson coming in and Javonte Williams getting that big deal, I do think that Melvin Gordon will only be coming in on some passing downs or when Javonte needs a break. So I have decent hopes for this guy. I wouldn't mind drafting him. I did not have him in my top 10 for fantasy purposes, but only because I feel like the touchdowns will be going to the wide receivers more often than not, just because Russell Wilson is known for passing the ball inside the red zone.
Very true. Very, very true. All right, guys. Now we went to 10, 9. Now it's time for number 8. And number 8, it breaks my heart. Breaks my heart because I talked about this guy very highly. I had him in 3 out of 3 of my fantasy leagues last year, which helped me out tremendously. But for me, he just slightly slips by the top 10 just because of the unknown. Number 8, we have Nick Chubb of the Cleveland Browns. Now, Nick Chubb, he's a solid back. And if you're in fantasy football, you want him, and more than likely, he's probably going to be your RB1 in your team. But this is why I'm kind of skeptical here. He was kind of hit or miss some games, okay? They were using a lot of Kareem Hunt as that pass catching back, which they're kind of transitioning into becoming that type of offense where they like to run the ball, but it slightly misses the run heavy aspect of being a run heavy offense. They are more of a shallow threat type of offense now. And with Kareem Hunt being there, how great he did last year, I do feel like they're going to utilize more of that pass catching back. So I think his production is just going to go down a little bit. Now, is he still going to be a valuable running back to have? 100% yes. He's going to be getting a lot of catches, a lot of touches. So you do want him on your team. But that's basically all I got for Nick Chubb. Not bashing on him, but he's a solid pick for the second round.
Yeah, man, Nick Chubb. I have him in my top 5. I know we didn't put him in the last video because he fell just outside of that for you guys and a couple of other people as well as draft. He as well goes in the second round. I believe in the first fantasy draft that I did, he went in the third round, which is kind of crazy. But some people got some quarterbacks, tight ends, all that stuff, wasting their first and second round pick basically. But Nick Chubb, I think he's one of the best backs in the league right now. For fantasy purposes, he may take a dip, so I can understand that you guys are putting him just outside at 8 here. But I just think Nick Chubb, when he gets the ball, man, he's very smart. I believe his yards per carry is just above 4 yards per carry, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have his stats pulled up. But I mean, the guy's smart. He's big. He's quick, and I mean, he's a Georgia running back, baby. That's what he is. He's a power guy. So I just think that him and the Browns are a great fit. And with the turmoil that the team is going through, they're going to heavily weigh on him to get the rock running through the tackles, and then Kareem Hunt will come in for passing downs and anytime they do a stretch or anything like that, because that's what Kareem Hunt's forte is. He's not the power back, but I'm hoping that Nick Chubb will get a lot more touchdowns than he did last year, because he did kind of fall off, just like you did say, AJ, in the last fantasy season.
Yeah, especially coming in with a new quarterback. You don't know what type of system they're going to play. And I say they do get a Deshaun Watson, who is, that quote-unquote mobile type quarterback, could open up some airways for a nicer running game, a smoother running game, I should say. And that's where Nick Chubb should excel. But we don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to play. They might be stuck with Jacoby Brissett. They need that easy dump-off pass if they're going to rely on third downs with Kareem Hunt.
Or Garoppolo's their quarterback, and you know what Garoppolo needs.
Dude, why you got to fire me up like this?
You know what Garoppolo needs? He needs a good running game.
He needs a good running
game. It's the only way he can be good.
Oh, I'm getting ooh.
So now you should pass it to him 50% of the downs.
Check it out. You ready?
Okay.
Fantasy football right here. This is Jimmy G, all right? Clip this, Nestor. 42. That's what he does best. That's what he does best. That's all you got to do.
Incredible.
You see that form? Look, come in.
That's worth 28
boom.
Mil right there, baby.
In. Boom. That's where it's at.
Wow.
Like that, right?
The quickest sidestep I've ever seen.
Oh, man, he's phenomenal. He's the best in the league. Best in the league. Best looking quarterback. Best in the league and handing the ball off. That's the man right there. I like your take on that, Reed.
All right.
Oh, all right. Enough about Nick Chubb, because you know me. I hate talking about the Browns. If it's not the Niners, I don't like talking about it. That's why I bring up Jimmy G. That's the only way I get to do it. All right, number 7. I like this guy a lot. Okay, and in 2020, this guy was a top 3 running back. Top 3 running back all across the board. It doesn't even have to be fantasy. This guy was up there. I'm talking about Dalvin Cook. This guy is phenomenal. He is amazing. He's been that set back there for Minnesota. Ain't no one taking his spot. But there is one problem with this dude. He's never played a full season. There it is right there. That is the knife going through the corazón. That's what's going to kill you right there. He has never played a full season. Yet he is almost averaging 22 touches a game.
Ooh.
That is top 5 in fantasy running backs. 22 touches a game gives him plenty of opportunity, especially with the type of running back that he is. I feel like he's scratching the surface of being elite. I think he's great there. But a little bit of fantasy advice, which I wasn't going to give today, but you know what? Might as well do it. If you're drafting and if you're out there in round 7 and you see this guy named Alexander Madison, let me say this again. If you see a guy named Alexander Madison and you went ahead and drafted Dalvin Cook in the first or second round, go ahead and pick up Alexander Madison. Handcuff that dude, because for sure, no matter what, you will have a running back one. You will have an elite running back in your fantasy league. If he goes down, Madison proved last year that he could take on that workload and he could win you games. Handcuff that dude if you have an opportunity. Don't force it. Only if you do have an opportunity.
Yeah, man. I'll let Reed go last here because he's Green Bay Packers fan, and that's his rival team in the division, basically. So I'll just say a little bit more, adding on to AJ's point here. The Vikings are a very underrated team. We've talked about it at the quarterback position. We've talked about it at the wide receiver position, who nobody has been talking about. Jefferson that much. Everybody says that he's going to get paid, and he did get paid. But nobody ever talks about Thielen anymore. That's my big thing. And you know what? No one ever talks about Dalvin Cook either. But these guys are performing at a pro level. These guys are getting paid big money. They're not the highest paid at their position, but these guys put in the work and they sweat. They hit the heck out of people. They run the most crisp routes and have the most crisp cuts that I've ever seen in some of the games that I've watched. And they don't get talked about enough. So, and talking about Dalvin Cook, if he's in the first round and 4 or 5 quarterbacks ahead of him have gone already and he's your first pick, you take him. But with AJ's very smart plan here, if you see Alexander Madison, shoot even in the 6th round, in my opinion. You can probably bypass on a quarterback, bypass on a defense, bypass on a tight end because, I mean, by then Kittle and Kelsey are gone. Waller might still be there, but he might be gone as well. So you might as well take an extra round and get a running back one, just like AJ said. Alexander Madison showed last year that he's one of the best backups in the league. He came in and it was like he ran all over us. The first game he played was with Seattle, and he killed us. He was catching, he was running up the middle, he was running outside the tackles. I mean, he was doing everything, and we couldn't stop him. We had some of the fastest linebackers and some of the most heavy-hitting linebackers last year, and we still couldn't do anything on him. The line is very underrated as well. They're not the best, but they are great at run blocking, and I'll let Reed take it away here because I want to hear what he says about this guy.
All right, guys. Now, I will admit, the Dalvin Cook of the past, incredible. His, 2019 stats? Incredible. Dude put up crazy numbers. Seriously, great player. But unlike these guys, I did not put him in my top 10. And that's because if you're going to be a good fantasy owner, you have to be able to predict which of these running backs is not going to perform like they did in the past. Every single year, some of these players do not play like they used to.
Wow.
They get replaced, they get injured, they look the same. I'm predicting that for Dalvin Cook. No, I'm not biased Packer fan. I think Madison's going to take in that role and run over players. He's going to run through defenses. He's probably going to make our defense look stupid a couple times. I'll admit it. They have a great running game, the Vikings do. But I just don't think that Dalvin Cook is going to be able to bring it. You have to be, if you want to be able on top of the fantasy game, you have to be predict these things. And I'm predicting Dalvin Cook is not going to have a good year next year.
Now, you got to clip this.
Hey, I've been right more than I've been wrong. All right, you just guys like to throw my wrongs in my face.
I do no such thing.
When did we ever do that?
Never. I'm lying here. But yeah, I think if you're going to choose one of these like top 10 running backs who's not going to perform as well, because it always happens every year, I think Dalvin Cook's that guy.
All right.
I respect it.
Very well said. Okay, now we are down to number 6, you guys. Number 6 here on our fantasy lineup. But before we get into that, I do want to take a little break and tease you guys a little bit. Have you guys wait. If you guys have not checked out our TikTok page, go check it out. Okay, right now. NSP Football Talk. Check it out before we blow up too big. You guys want to sample of one of our videos? I got one here.
Bring it.
Look at this. Latest video here. Sick.
Watson? Why you gotta go and ruin Cleveland? Goddamn.
Who's that guy right there?
Watson.
Jeez, what a
All the
cutie.
Browns money just be leaving. Now you lost your future, also losing Baker. Now you guys have no chance at the playoffs. But Watson,
That's pretty good.
why you gotta go and ruin Cleveland? Watson out here trying to cop a feel, yeah. Houston me providing cheap thrills, yeah. Now the Browns be falling from the top. But Baker to the Panthers ain't a flop. Hey, Roger ain't a fan of this little song, but this list of girls just way too long. He gon' try to be the next Big Ben. Yeah, the NFL put this to an end. Now Deshaun is through, lost his crew. Homie's lawyer saying that it wasn't true. Man is rude, Browns are screwed. Taking Cleveland's money with an attitude. Watson, why you gotta go and ruin Cleveland?
Dang.
Iron Man.
See, now
Hey,
that's just
have
a
we
little taste.
signed this guy yet?
That's just a little taste of what we got to offer over there at NSP Football Talk on TikTok. Go check us out, guys. Give us a follow, give us a like. Helps out a ton. Appreciate every single one of y'all being here. Now let's get to number 6. Okay, pretty sure y'all projected this because we kind of hinted it last episode when we did our top 5 running backs for fantasy. We got Joe. What'd you call him? Joe
Quixon Mixon, man.
Quixon Mixon. Joe Cool Mixon Quixon Lixon Rickson Rickety Doo. All right, here we go. So he is hitting our number 6 because honestly, he could be a top 5 running back. He barely missed it, barely falling through the cracks. Okay, I'm getting kind of lost here. Okay, so I like this guy a lot because he gets a lot of the touches, especially with a Joe Cool quarterback. Gets him in scoring positions a lot. But one thing that does kill Joe Mixon, which hurts everyone, especially in a PPR league, that he does not receive the targets. He doesn't get any targets. P. Ryan, he's the pass catching back, and that's what stops Mixon from being in the top 5. Now, he is number 6 for a reason. Because that guy, when he is on the field and the ball touches his hands, he is all over it, man. I think he averages 20 touches a game? 20 touches a game. And last year he had 16 touchdowns. Ranked 4th in fantasy running backs. That is insane. And last year, I remember Joe Mixon going in like the 3rd round. It was crazy. And now that you've seen what they can do in that offense, with that type of O-line, which they reinforced this offseason, imagine what he's going to do next year. He's hungry out there. They just lost the Super Bowl. They're hungry. And he's going to score you some fantasy points.
Yeah, Joe Mixon's going to be great this next year. They reinforced that line. They're looking better. And then all eyes are on, I think a lot of people aren't going to be, as far as like a defense coordinator preparing for the week, you're going to be focused on that passing game with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, all the other guys. You're going to be playing for that. And Joe Mixon's going to get lost in all that. And he's just going to be able to slip in, get those 4 or 5 yards, carries, and be able to put up some great points for your fantasy league. Definitely draft this guy in the first, maybe even if he's available, 2nd round. He's going to be a great running back for you this year.
Well, I respect what both of you said, but here's my take on it. I had Mixon as my number 4, and I don't even care if he catches the ball or not. This guy did not catch the ball pretty much any time last year, and he
had 42 receptions.
Okay, well, that's quite a bit.
3 touchdowns.
Anyways, okay. I don't care if he catches the ball or not. This guy was putting up double-digit points almost every game that he was playing. And that's with the trio that the Bengals have with Jamar Chase. I believe they have Higgins still, if I'm not mistaken, and Tyler Boyd. I mean, you look at those guys and you don't see a lot of production, but when they're on the field, those guys are clicking. If one guy's not open, the other one is. So I don't really see a point in going to the running back. Joe Shiesty doesn't have to do that. He's got tremendous talent there. I believe their tight end is Hayden Hurst. He used to play for the Steelers. He was pretty good too, especially in the red zone. So I think some of those touches down there are not going to go towards Joe Mixon's way, but he is the number one back for sure. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he gets about 80% of the snaps as their running back one. So I believe a lot in this guy. He showed us last year what he's about, and he's been with the Bengals for quite a while. He's been a faithful there. He's weathered the storm of when they could not get past anybody in their division, but now they're one of the top dogs there. It's a hard division, of course, but I don't think Joe Mixon will slow down. I think, just like AJ said, he's hungry. The whole team is hungry. They've worked on the O-line. They have a whole new outlook because they were hurt when they lost in the Super Bowl, and they should be, because I think they could possibly make another run very soon, if not this year.
Hey, Vincent, didn't I trade you Joe Mixon last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did wonders for me.
Yeah.
You traded Joe Mixon?
Yeah, I had too many running backs. I had too many good running backs, and I needed wide receivers. It worked out. It was a great trade for both of us.
Yeah, both of us, both players just worked out well. They fit right into our lineup, and
yeah,
that's when I started winning after that. Because
Yeah.
I was on a bad losing streak, and I got Joe Mixon, and I think I made another trade with someone else. I think it was Vince as well. But yeah, in my opinion, if he's there in the first round and you're at pick 5 or 6 and he's there, you pick him. That's just me.
Wow.
Okay.
I see.
Okay.
All right.
Right. Awesome. So that's been our fantasy running back talk part 2. It is continued. If you haven't checked out our first video, go check it out. We talked about the top 5. It was a lot of fun making that video. This video is a lot of fun. We're super excited for fantasy football to start. It is right around the corner. Expect to have our fantasy live talk every Tuesday. We're going to try to go live. If not, we will still provide a video on Tuesdays just so y'all can get used to it, because when fantasy football season starts, we got to get you this information right before the waiver wire so you guys can make the correct choice. That's why we do it on Tuesdays. If you didn't know, now you do. Waiver wire, they get processed Wednesday morning, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. But thank you guys so much for joining. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you guys haven't already, go visit our TikTok. We already showed you what we had to offer. What are you still doing here? Until next time, you guys, keep on grinding.